And we see that the elapsed milliseconds now is 177. So in comparison to the standard EF Core approach is way faster. Imagine that you have developed a great application using .NET and Entity Framework Core, and you start to process thousands or tens of thousands of records at once, and you notice the huge bottleneck in your system that your application is getting slower and slower. My name is Remik, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to use Entity Framework Extensions library to significantly improve the performance of your application. We'll compare the standard EF Core and Entity Framework Extensions on the real use case scenario. Let's get started. Alright guys, I'm on the Entity Framework-extensions.net webpage that you can find out the useful documentation, online examples, and the download link for this Entity Framework Extensions Nugget package that we'll work on with in this tutorial. You can see as well down below the online benchmarks, how it will improve your performance in comparison to the SaveChanges, and also you can see even this simple table that it will improve your performance when comparing SaveChanges and the BulkInsert. I would like to tell you now why it improves your performance that much comparing to the standard EF Core. So bypassing the change tracker, one of the EF Core's greatest strengths as well as the biggest weakness is the change tracker during the bulk loads. So tracking the state of 50,000 objects in memory consumes massive amounts of CPU and RAM. So Entity Framework Extensions allows you to process the data without the overhead of tracking every single property change, freeing up your server to actually handle the logic instead of just managing the memory. And the second reason is to reduce the database round trips. Standard EF Core is like the delivery driver who takes one package at a time to the same house, driving back and forth 1,000 times. So Entity Framework Extensions is like the massive freight truck that delivers all 1,000 packages in a single trip. You can see now on the screen that we have a lot of insert statements that were generated when using add range and then SaveChanges async. So when reducing all of those into the single one bulk operation, it will increase as well your performance. Now I will click on the download, and here we have the download links for the nuggets, for the Entity Framework 4, 5, 6, and for the EF Core that we are interested in right now. Over there you have the free trial tab, then also the pricing tab that you can order once you have tested the Entity Framework Extensions, or you can choose the free trial. Then I will press Nugget download. And as you see, they support .NET 10, so the latest version currently of .NET. So you can copy this command and use directly in your IDE, or you can just copy the name of the Nugget package, go to the Visual Studio and browse it, and then download. For now, as you see, I have installed the latest version, so you can do it over there. And now, important part, so the trial version you can use for the end of the month. When you would like to use it for the commercial projects, then of course you have to order the license from the ZZ projects. Now let's go through the project that I have prepared for today's video. So as you see, I have 5 top-level Nugget packages, so the OpenAPI, Entity Framework Core.design, PostgreSQL, that I am using the PostgreSQL database in this project, so it was required, designed for the database migration that you can see over there to create that one, Scalar.aspnetcore to be able to use the Scalar interface, and Entity Framework Extensions EF Core Nugget package. On the left-hand side, we can see the API structure, that everything is in the same layer just for the simplicity of this tutorial to cover mostly the differences between the EF Core and the Entity Framework Extensions. We have the program CS file where we add the DB context and we use PostgreSQL database. We have the static class to initialize database, to add 5 categories to the database, to have the starting point, category has the collection of the products, and the product has the foreign key to the category entity. We have the application DB context, where we set up two database tables, of course, products and the categories. In the onModel method, we set up the configuration for those two entities. In the helpers directory, I have the product generator static class that has the one method to generate the enumerable of the product based on the specified count. So based on the number of the items that I would like to create, and I'm using the random to randomize the output. And in the program CS file, I have a lot of the endpoints that cover most commonly used methods from the entity framework extensions. And also I'll compare here with the only using the entity framework core. And in all of these API endpoints, we'll have the same structure. So at first, we'll wipe out the database, we'll create it once again, and we'll add the 5 categories. Then we'll generate the products. We'll use the stopwatch to measure the time, to measure the operation that we'll invoke, and then we'll return the operation result with the name of the operation, elapsed milliseconds, and the total products in the database. I have started the API and used /scalar to access the scalar interface. We see that we have a lot of endpoints. We have the EF core tab and EF extensions that will compare those two with. We have BulkInsertOptimized, update, delete, merge, synchronize, and save changes endpoints in 2 of those approaches. And at first, I would like to send the test request to insert 10,000 of the products to my database. So over there, we'll measure this time and we'll use the standard EF core approach, add range async, and then SaveChanges async method. We've received the following output, so almost 3 seconds to insert 10,000 of the products. And we see that a lot of insert statements were generated, so in the console we see how it decreased our performance. And now when I would like to send the same request to insert the products of the same amount with the usage of entity framework extensions, you need to use the method called BulkInsertAsync, so no more 2 of those methods to add range and then SaveChanges async. With this approach, you can use only one method, BulkInsertAsync, and pass the products into it. And we see that the elapsed milliseconds now is 177. So in comparison to the standard EF core approach is way faster. And comparing to the previous output that we had with the standard EF core, we see only that one, so no more multiple database round trips. So even based on that log, we see that it was way optimized that with the standard EF core approach. In entity framework extensions, there is the concept of BulkInsertOptimized async method that you can use to not output the data after the insert, which will as well increase the performance of this operation even more. So here we have the insert optimized from the EF core, which does not exist. So it will be completely the same as the insert. So I will not invoke this. And the insert optimized, I will send the test request with 10,000 of the products. You can see that it's 72 milliseconds. And you can use just instead of the BulkInsertAsync, the BulkInsertOptimized async. Now we'll go through the BulkUpdate. So in the standard EF core approach, we'll for each the products, and then we'll use the SaveChanges async method. In the EF extensions, we'll use the BulkUpdate async method after performing the same update of the products, and we'll compare the time between the EF core and entity framework extensions. For the standard EF core, it took 1.5 thousand milliseconds, so 1.5 seconds, and we'll choose another endpoint for the entity framework extensions, and the same took 100 milliseconds. So as you see, it's 15 times faster than the standard EF core. Now we'll cover the BulkDelete. So with the standard EF core approach, you use the remove range and then SaveChanges async method. With entity framework extensions, you can use the BulkDelete async method and pass the products as the parameter. So now in the scalar, I will send the request to use the standard EF core approach. It took 800 milliseconds. And for entity framework extensions, BulkDelete, it's only 31 milliseconds. And now we'll cover the BulkMerge, so the upsert operation, insert new and update existing. Over there, I'm initializing the database, then I seed the count of the products, so it will be 10,000, so those will be in the database. I will take only 5,000 of those and I will create new 5,000 of the products, so the output should be 15,000 of the products in the database at the end of this operation. I use the for each loop, add range, what's incoming, and SaveChanges async method. And with entity framework extensions, you can use the BulkMerge async method and pass all of those entities at once, and entity framework extensions will do its job to detect what was updated and what was inserted at once. That will significantly improve the performance of this operation. And now I will go to the scalar, use the merge at first with the standard EF core, almost 2 seconds, so 1.8 seconds. And with entity framework extensions, we'll use the merge endpoint. And as you can see, it's a little bit over 100 of the milliseconds. Now we'll go through the BulkSynchronize, so merge and delete entities that not in the source. So it's like insert, update, and delete. So it allows you to mirror the data from your source to the database in entity framework core. So rows that match the entity key are updated, rows that exist in the source but they're not in the database are inserted, and the rows that exist in the database but not in the source are deleted. So over there you have the standard EF core approach. So this is the long piece of the code that you have to manually write. And in the EF extensions, as you can see, you can use the BulkSynchronize async method and you provide as the parameter what's in the source. So now I'll use the BulkSynchronize with the EF core approach. It took 1.7 seconds. And with EF extensions, it's only 126 milliseconds. And the last method that we'll cover is going to be the BulkSaveChanges. So in EF core, you don't have that method, of course. So BulkSaveChanges is not available, but you can just add, update, and delete at once, and then use the SaveChanges async method at the end. And with entity framework extensions, you can just use the BulkSaveChanges async method that will optimize this operation. And now I will send the first request, so the EF core approach. It took 1.4 seconds. And now entity framework extensions, BulkSaveChanges async, we see that now we have 425 milliseconds. Alright guys, so this is the end of this tutorial. It was very visible that Entity Framework extensions was way faster than the standard EF Core approach, and I hope that you know now how to use it in your projects. If you're interested in, you can check out the Entity Framework-extensions.net website that is in the pinned comment down below and as well in the video description, and see you in the next tutorial.